Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. It started the night my brother didn't come back from hunting. Kai was always the careful one. I was reckless, headstrong, impatient, but Kai, he was deliberate. Sharp eyes, quiet footsteps, a way of reading the land like it whispered to him in a language no one else understood. We grew up on a Navajo reservation in northern Arizona, raised by our grandfather after our parents passed. The land was in our blood. Red earth, tall pines, sharp rocks that split the moonlight. Kai had gone out alone that afternoon with his rifle and a thermos of coffee, saying he was going after mule deer. Said he had a good feeling. I remember teasing him before he left, asking if he was finally going to beat my record. He just smirked and shook his head. The sun set. Then came the cold. No calls. No sounds from the woods. I sat on the porch, watching the edge of the tree lean. The wind kept picking up and dying, like it didn't know what to do. The stars flickered behind a curtain of thick, slow-moving clouds. By midnight, the fear had settled in my gut like stone. By 2 a.m., I was pacing. At 3 a.m., I heard the knock. 3 of them. Slow, heavy, hollow. I'll never forget that sound. It didn't echo like a human knock. It sank into the wood like a bruise. I opened the door. Kai was standing there, arms slack at his sides, his boots caked in red mud. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. There was something off, something wrong in his posture. He didn't meet my eyes. His head tilted just slightly, like he was watching me through his lashes, but not really seeing me. "You gonna let me in or not?" he asked. The voice hit me like a wet rag to the face. It sounded like him, but deeper, slower, as if someone had heard him speak once and was now mimicking him badly, like a recording played at the wrong speed. Behind me, Rigo, our old shepherd mutt, started to growl low in his throat. Then he whimpered and darted under the couch. That dog had faced down coyotes, snakes, even a bear once, but now he was hiding. I looked back at Kai. My brother, or the thing wearing his shape, was smiling now, but it didn't touch his eyes. They were flat, wrong, as if someone had painted them onto a mask. "Where's your rifle?" I asked. He smiled wider, his teeth too clean, too white. "Don't need it anymore," he said. That's when I slammed the door. Not gently. I threw my shoulder into it like I was trying to trap a tornado outside. I locked the deadbolt, then bolted to the old weapons cabinet and grabbed Grandpa's shotgun. My hands were shaking, but I still remembered how to load it. I crept to the window and peeked through the curtain. It was still there, standing in the same spot, staring straight at the house. Not moving, not blinking, just watching. It stood there like a scarecrow carved from meat and bone, the smile fading into a neutral, dead expression. It didn't try the doorknob, didn't shout, didn't move. For a whole hour, I sat on the floor, the shotgun across my lap, Rigo curled up against my leg, shivering. I whispered prayers in Navajo under my breath, the way Grandpa used to when the winds got strange. At dawn, it turned and walked into the woods. Just like that, like it had grown bored. I didn't sleep. We found Kai's body 2 days later, not more than a mile from the house, half buried under a pine tree. His throat had been slit deep and clean. His eyes were missing. His boots were gone, and so was his skin, peeled from his face like someone had tried to wear it. The coroner called it an animal attack, said maybe a bear had found him. But no bear peels a man's face like a glove and walks to his front door wearing it. I never told anyone what really happened. Who would believe me? But sometimes, especially when the wind howls through the trees or when I hear a knock in the dead of night, I wonder if it ever really left, and if it's still out there, waiting to wear another face. Story 2. You ever feel truly alone? Not the I'm by myself kind, but the deep, gnawing kind that creeps into your bones and whispers, no one is coming for you. That's the kind of alone Emma and I were looking for last fall. We wanted out from under buzzing phones, angry emails, traffic lights, screaming neighbors. So we drove into the White Mountains with a borrowed tent, a couple sleeping bags, and enough ramen to survive for a week. The first night was magic. Quiet. No wind, no bugs, no distant hum of cars. Just trees, moonlight, and the sound of our own breathing. We laughed about how city life had made us twitchy, how we kept expecting a phone to vibrate or a siren to wail. But nothing happened. Nothing bad. Anyway, that came on the second night. I woke up around 2 a.m., needing to piss. Cold air kissed my face the moment I unzipped the sleeping bag. Emma stirred but didn't wake. She always slept like the dead. I was halfway into pulling on my boots when I heard it. Soft at first, almost part of the wind. Whistle, whistle, pause. It was a melody. Sort of. Not a song I recognized. Just a few notes, slow and mournful. At first, I thought it was another camper screwing around. People drink, get weird in the woods. But we hadn't seen anyone else for miles when we hiked in. No other tents, no fires. Just us. I froze, one boot halfway on, straining to listen. The whistling came again, this time closer. Whistle, whistle. Pause. Then a chuckle. Low. Hoarse. Almost like a smoker coughing out a laugh. Emma, I whispered, shaking her shoulder. She blinked awake, annoyed. What? Do you hear that? She sat up. The moment she did, the walking started. Heavy footsteps. Not running. Not creeping. Just walking. Like someone strolling through the forest at night. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. Crunch. 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 It circled the tent once. Emma looked at me, eyebrows scrunched. Is that a bear? I shook my head. Too even. Too two-legged. We both went silent. And that's when we heard it. My voice. From right outside the tent flap. I'm cold. Let me in. Emma's face went pale. That was you, right? She asked. I didn't even answer. I was sitting right beside her. She could feel the warmth of me. Whoever, or whatever, was outside sounded just like me. Same tone, same rhythm, same way I always muttered when I was irritated. The footsteps started again, slower now, one side of the tent to the other. I grabbed the knife from my backpack. It was a pocket blade, useless if whatever was out there wanted in. Emma clutched my arm. She whispered, "Don't talk." And we didn't. Not a word. Because we realized something. Whatever it was copying me. And it had heard me speak. It had my voice now. We sat in silence for what felt like hours. The walking stopped. Then more whistling. Whistle, whistle, pause. Closer this time. And then the tent zipper moved. Just a little. Just enough to jiggle. We didn't breathe. The zipper didn't open. But something scraped against the fabric. Long, drawn-out scratches like fingernails or claws. Then quiet. We didn't sleep. At first light, we burst out of the tent like kids running from monsters under the bed. We left half our stuff behind and hiked 6 miles out with blistered feet and hearts beating like war drums. At the ranger station, this guy, late 50s, with a face like old bark, looked up from his paperwork. He saw our faces and didn't even ask what was wrong. I told him anyway. Every detail, even the stupid part where it sounded like me. He just nodded. Something out there likes to mimic folks. He said like he was telling me the weather forecast. Most times it don't come that close. You got lucky. Emma asked, what happens if it hears us again? The ranger shrugged. Wouldn't let it. Some things in those hills don't just steal voices. Sometimes they steal faces too. We never camped again. We moved to a second-floor apartment in the city, surrounded by sirens and honking cars and yelling neighbors. And you know what? We sleep like babies. Because sometimes noise is comfort. Because silence means it's listening. Story 3. I've never told this story before. Not in full. Not the way it really happened. Maybe because part of me still believes I imagined it. Maybe because admitting it out loud makes it too real. But I can't sleep without seeing that thing crawling toward me. Its joints bending the wrong way, its grin. God, that grin. So I'm going to tell it now. Everything. Just once. I was a seasonal ranger stationed near Chimney Rock, Colorado, deep in the San Juan National Forest. It's a quiet post, isolated. Just miles and miles of trees, silence, and sky. Most people don't even know the station exists. It's the kind of assignment you either beg for or get stuck with, depending on what kind of ranger you are. Me, I like the silence. Needed it, even. That winter had been cruel. Endless snowfall, bone-snapping winds, and days without sunlight. The kind of cold that settles into your bones and never quite leaves. I was doing my usual night patrol, bundled up in 3 layers, boots crunching through powder, flashlight beam cutting the dark. I had this weird habit of talking to myself while walking, just a low murmur, like I was keeping myself company. That night, though, I was quiet. Something about the forest felt off. Still, too still. About halfway through the patrol loop, I found them. Footprints. They were human, barefoot, in snow that hadn't let up for hours. But here's the thing. They weren't right. They weren't just bare. They were long, almost impossibly so, like someone had stretched the shape of a foot beyond normal proportions. And deep, way too deep for someone barefoot. No dragging, no disturbance around them. Just clean, solid prints. Almost surgical. I follow them. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe some survival instinct hadn't kicked in yet. They led me to the edge of a cliff. Chimney Rock loomed just beyond, this jagged finger of stone pointing into the night sky like some forgotten god's warning. The tracks just stopped, right at the ledge. Not a single disturbed stone past that point. No sign of turning around. No blood, no body, no trail down the side. Just gone. And then I heard it. Not a voice. Not a scream. Just gravel shifting behind me. I turned fast, nearly dropping my flashlight. There it was. Low to the ground. Crawling. Naked skin that wasn't quite gray, but had no color at all. Arms and legs too long for its body. Moving like a spider with broken legs. Its back arched unnaturally, and its spine rippled like a centipede beneath the skin. Its face. Jesus, the face. It didn't have features so much as it had suggestions. Eye sockets too wide, too round, and deep as holes in the earth. A grin pulled across its face, too wide for any human mouth. Lips cracked and peeling. Its teeth, they were the worst part. Tiny, uniform, like rows and rows of baby teeth packed too tightly in its mouth. And it was grinning, smiling like it had waited for me. Then it laughed. Not loud, not menacing. It was playful, giddy, like a kid who found a new toy. And then it moved. I've seen coyotes run, mountain lions leap. I've watched elk charge. Nothing I've ever seen moved like this thing. It didn't run. It crawled so fast it barely touched the ground, like it was gliding, but with joints snapping in every direction, limbs flailing with purpose. It didn't chase me. It hunted me. I turned and ran. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I ran. I tripped once, nearly ate a mouthful of snow, but caught myself. Every step I took, I heard its limbs hitting the ground behind me. Click thud, click thud, closer. I wasn't far from the patrol truck. I saw it through the trees, headlights catching flakes of snow, looking like salvation. I yanked the door open, dove inside, and locked it with trembling fingers. Then silence, total silence. No sound, no breath, no laughter, until something tapped on the window. Once, twice. I turned my head, slowly, like in a dream. Nothing there. I waited. After maybe 5 minutes, felt like hours, I started the engine and drove like hell back to base. When I got there, I locked every door, every window, pulled the shades, turned every light on. Then I checked the exterior cameras. I had to know if I was losing my mind. Nothing for the first few angles. Just me, walking, turning. Then I checked the west-facing cam, the cliff view. There I was, standing at the edge, flashlight beam scanning the drop. And there it was behind me, standing upright, not crawling, standing tall, taller than me, arms slack at its sides, the grin still carved across its face. One hand reaching out. The footage glitched right after that frame. Corrupted, unusable. But I saw it, just long enough to know it was real. I quit the next week. Told them my dad was sick. Told them I needed to get back to Denver. Truth is, I've never been back to the woods. I moved into the city, a third-floor apartment. No trees in sight. But sometimes at night, I hear tapping at the window. 3 floors up. Always 2 taps. Like it remembers me. Like it's still playing the game.